Carlos, over here. Obviously, you're on a bit of a run, a bit of a win streak, and your opponent, Woon Jung, is on a bit of a losing streak right now. So I'm curious, when they came to you with this name, were you surprised that they presented you with this? Because I assume you wanted to fight guys that were also winning. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Jung, although he's on a losing streak at the moment, I've always seemed to look at him as a dangerous opponent coming up into the ranks. And I've been watching him for a time now. And even though he's had those 2 losses, I feel like he's still at his he's still learning and on the process. He's still young, and I feel that he's a complete martial artist. So I won't be looking past that, and I feel like it's going to be either a bloody war or an easy night in the office for me. So I'm prepared for anything with Jung. So prepared myself pretty well for this camp, and I think it's going to be a good show for us. When you say you've been watching him, was that because you thought maybe down the road you guys would be matched up, or did you watch maybe because you guys have similar opponents? Did you watch maybe tape on an opponent that happened to be him? Why specifically were you watching him? Yeah, he fought Kennedy in Strickland and beat him pretty easily, and he had a good game plan against Kennedy, so I felt that he was definitely someone that I'd run into eventually. So I continued to watch him and his uprise. So and now here we are, man. I think it was just a matter of time. So yeah. And you're the featured prelim, so you're the last fight on ESPN before the pay-per-view. Do you like that spot, that you're going to be maybe more eyes on you all around the world and you lead into the pay-per-view? Yes, it is good. It's in a good place. I guess it's the main event for the prelims, and I think it's just the starter for the main card. So I've fought on the first. I've been the first fighter of the first card, I think in New York it was. So I've been there before, and I feel like it's very soon we're going to be climbing the ranks and jumping into that top 15 soon. So. And when Israel was coming up, he wouldn't look too far ahead, but he would always have names when he got to a certain point. Like, when I beat Marvin Vettori, I'm going to call out this guy, and then when I beat this guy, I'm going to call out this guy. Are you in the same mindset, or do you just wait for the UFC to come to you with names? Yeah, I mean, I've like I said, I've done my study on the division, and I think that's the way to go about it. But you just have to keep an eye on your division and watch all the fights and make sure that you keep on top of it. Who's going where and who's winning and who's losing and who's got the momentum. So I feel like I'm in the right place at the right time, and I think that I finish this fight and I get this fight out the way. We're going places. So yeah. The final one for me: what was it like peaking with all your teammates at CKB before this fight? I think it's 6 fighters on this card, which I don't. No one's confirmed it yet, but we all assume that's a record for most fighters. I feel like it is. Yeah, I think it is actually. From what I know as well. I feel like we're all hot at the moment. We're beaming, like you said, and we're on fire. Today, just watching a lot of the boys train, and everyone seems to be on point, focused, and ready for this weekend. So we feel like we're at home. Australia's home for us. Closer to home. We've got a lot of family and friends here who have travelled from overseas, and we've got family here as well. So this is home for us, and it's time for us to shine in front of our family and friends. This is our backyard, so we're here to defend it. Thank you.
Kia ora, Carlos.
Kia ora, brother.
First, I want to ask about the hair. Who inspired that? Charlie Olives or Dan Hooker?
Dan Hooker for sure. But I told Dan as he dyed his hair before his fight, I said that I was going to dye it. I didn't do it, but it's just because I couldn't get around to doing it. But it was definitely Dan. I told him that I'd get it done anyway.
Do you think it's going to be pink by the end of the fight?
It'll be pink, but hopefully not. I just want to get the fight over and done with really quickly in the fashion that I do it, and. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll chop it all off before the fight.
I could be wrong about this fact, but I think there's 4 active Samoan fighters on the roster, and all 4 of you are on this card.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you to be representing your Samoan heritage, and what it could mean to all the Samoan kids around the rest of the world are like, oh, there's someone like me doing this, I can be like that.
Yeah, it's massive. I mean, we've got, the four of us that are on the card, Samoans, representing our culture, and it means a lot. We've had many other Samoans come out through the combat sport and represent, and now we are on the UFC stage representing Samoa. So, yeah, I think what I see is a flood of Samoan flags come Sunday afternoon. So, yeah, man, it's going to be a good time for us to represent our culture.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Carlos, Alex from the stands here. You know, your opponent, whilst coming off 2 losses, he has, a lot of finishes and usually comes out quite hard in his fights. Are you expecting him to come at you kind of hard and early, because you are such a name here in Australia? Are you expecting that sort of fast start from him?
Yeah, I've anticipated anything, and I've prepared myself for anything. He is, like I said, he is a all-rounded fighter. He's complete, and I think with the 2 losses that he's got, he may have some urge to want to get the win in some fashion as well. And for him to get that win over someone like myself would be really good for him. But again, I've prepared for everything and anything. And even if we go to the ground, we might have to do something like that. But I feel like I'm too fast.
Carlos, there's a light heavyweight title fight being rumored for later this year with Alex Pereira and Yuri Prochazka. I just want to get your take on who you think wins that fight.
That's a big one. I've always looked at Yuri as a strong opponent for the future for myself, and he's growing massively. He's got a very good, strong head on him. So I feel like he's got a extensive background in his martial arts. So he's growing quite big, and he's had this time away as well. So you've got to factor that in. He's had this time away to sort of just sit back and watch, and that's where I learnt after my loss, was just sitting back and watching the division, watching everything unfold, and just learning a bit more. And I feel like he would be doing that. So with that said, Pedro has been quite active. So he's fought Israel, obviously, and he's no hard match. So this is going to be a tough one. I'm going to sit with Yuri on this one.
Yep. There are a lot of fun matchups in the top 15 for yourself, and with the win on Sunday, you'd think you'd be getting a top 15 ranking. Are there any names that particularly stand out? Guys like Alonzo Menefield, Khalil Roundtree, some fun names in the top 15. Any that stand out for you?
There are some names, and I've looked at it, and I've got someone in mind. So when I do get this finish on Sunday, I'll reveal it on Sunday. So I'll let everyone know on Sunday for sure.
So sorry, just at the front here, Stefan. You're prepared for everything at the moment. You've got 4 knockouts, 5 submissions, so you're pretty keen. So from on the card, what are your predictions on the main event, especially?
On the main event, my predictions we'll have to see on Sunday, but I feel that Israel's hot, man. He is, and he's hot. He's been hot for a while, obviously, as you all know. And just watching him do his work is amazing. I feel like he may want to even express a bit of jiu-jitsu in there, maybe. But I feel like he's quite confident in there. So yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Obviously, Strickland is a strong opponent. But I think Israel's just gonna make it easy, as he says.
Carlos, kia ora, bro.
Cheer, brother.
Cheer. Just talking about next year, potential to have a Auckland fight, Auckland, UFC. How important would that be? I know you've been in a lot of fights in Auckland, not professional ones, at least. How important would that be for you, brother?
It'll be important, man. It'll be massive. We've had it recently before, and for myself to be on that card, man, it's something that I've dreamed of since being a kid. Just having my name on the lights in Auckland, something I've visualized for a while now, especially under the UFC banner and City Kickboxing, just representing our culture in New Zealand would be great, man. And I feel like it might be coming anytime soon.
And another thing, like you talk about representation and representing South Auckland, where you're from. A lot of people don't know what, the mana that comes from being from South Auckland. Do you find yourself like being a role model for some of these kids? Just to do something to come out of South Auckland.
Yeah, you hit on the nail, bro. I think a lot of guys and a lot of kids and youngsters that come from where I come from, they'll look up to guys like myself, and they'll see that they can do it too. If I've done it, then they can do it for sure. So it's definitely. I've watched people come up, and as a youngster, and seen how successful they could be, and I feel that I want to be the same for them as well, for the youngsters coming up. So being a role model and doing the things that I'm doing now is definitely something that I'm proud of. I'm proud of doing.
And last question for you, as a youngster, apart from Sonny Bill, who you copy your body style from, I just put it out there. But who were the ones that you looked up to, as a kid?
It was, it's like you said, bro. Like Sonny Bill was definitely one of them. He was because I was playing rugby back in my days, and everybody wanted to be that guy. Every teenager and boy wanted to be Sonny Bill because he had the looks, he had the haircut, he had the Sonny Bill haircut. So we had role models like that who represented our culture, represented New Zealand, represented us. So that gave me the hope to be able to do this now, and the vision. And just to see it for myself and just make it to unfold it now is a dream, man. It's a dream come true. You're welcome, bro.
Anything else? Okay, thank you.
All good. Thank you.